Representation matters. But as indigenous Chicano people, we can't just sit back and wait for mainstream media outlets to make it happen for us. And nor should we. We started the Tales from Aztlantis podcast because we believe that it is imperative for Chicanos, Chicanas, and Chicanx people to produce our own media and tell our own stories. And the way we choose to do this is by using Buzzsprout to host the podcast. Buzzsprout is by far the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast. You'll get a podcast website, audio players that you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, tools to promote your episodes, and much more. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and helps support the show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast. Now, on with the show.
Lord, we give you Kurly. Try not to piss him off.
Piali no chime, it's Kurly Tlapoyawa with yet another dispatch from Aztlantis. Today, I want to talk about a common mistake that I see being shared on social media all the time. In fact, I'm probably going to also shoot a Café con Nahuatl video for this topic, and I might even put out something on TikTok or Instagram or something because I think that this topic is important enough to be put across multiple formats, right? So for everybody who doesn't listen to the podcast, that they might be able to gain access to this information as well. So the mistake I want to talk about has to do with the name Tlalok and what that name means. But before we get into that, I want to provide a little background information, some context. For those of you that don't know, Tlalok is the name of the Teotl who represents the rain. In fact, when I lived in Mexico City and we could see rain clouds forming off in the distance, someone would always, they would always announce, "Ahí viene Tlalok," or "Here comes Tlalok." So as the rain, Tlalok is also associated with agriculture and the earth's fertility for obvious reasons. Tlalok is represented iconographically in the codices and murals and statues and carvings by the color blue. And these big goggle eyes, these are the most characteristic attribute of Tlalok. So when you're looking at, codices or murals or what have you, the easiest way to identify Tlalok or a symbol of Tlalok is the use of these big goggle eyes. And these goggle eyes, some have interpreted these goggle eyes as representing standing pools of water and the ripples caused by falling raindrops. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, but it seems like a fair interpretation to me. So Tlalok is said to reside in Tlalocan along with his female counterpart, Chalchitlique. Chalchitlique means her skirt of jade. Chalchitlique symbolizes the purity and preciousness of springs, rivers, and lakes, all that water that is used to irrigate the fields. So once again, we see this association with agriculture and the earth's fertility. And this makes sense, right? Because it's rain and water. So Tlalocan, where Tlalok and Chalchitlique both reside, this is one of the Mesoamerican afterworlds, where those who die a water-related death are said to pass on to. So people who drown or are struck by lightning or die in a flood, etc., they are said to go to Tlalocan in the afterlife. Okay, so there's a little bit of context. Now, what about the name Tlalok? Well, unfortunately, I see a lot of well-meaning social media posts making the claim that the name Tlalok is best translated as licor de la tierra, or liquor of the earth. And they do this by combining two words, tlali, which is earth, and octli, which is liquor. Hell, I used to make this claim myself back in the day, way before I started really studying the Nahuatl language and learning more about the grammar. So this translation of liquor of the earth or licor de la tierra, it's 100% grammatically incorrect. It just doesn't work. The language does not form words this way. It wouldn't, when you take tlali and octli, this is not a word that would come out of it. Tlalok just does not make sense grammatically. So, what does Tlalok actually mean? Well, it's a really old word. So, it's difficult to pin down a precise translation. The best translation that most linguists agree upon is something close to that which lies upon the surface of the earth. So, Tlalok means that which lies upon the surface of the earth. This is a direct reference to the rain clouds that form around mountaintops during the rainy season. And if you've lived in Mexico, the Valley of Mexico, you would notice this phenomenon during the rainy season. All of these rain clouds would just form around the mountaintops. So even when you look at the codices, I believe in the Codex Borbónico, there is an image of Tlalok sitting on his throne of Tlalocan, and it's located directly, over these mountaintops, which is where the rain clouds form. So we have evidence, linguistic, pictographic, historic, etc., that, that which lies upon the surface of the earth is the most accurate translation that linguists have been able to come up with. So there you go. Tlalok does not mean liquor of the earth, but rather that which lies upon the surface of the earth. I hope you found this information useful. And if you are interested in supporting original indigenous Chicano media like this, please visit talesfromaztlantis.org, where you can sign up as a Patreon supporter. For only $3 a month, you get ad-free episodes of the podcast, you get bonus premium episodes, and you get access to our Discord server, as well as a free copy of our ebook, The 4 Disagreements. So it's a great way to support independent Chicano indigenous media, and you get a bunch of cool stuff. So until next time, remember, the truth is like medicine. It doesn't always taste good, but it's always good for you. Timo Itase.
One thing. Just one thing.
And what's that?
I have no idea. But ask Kurly, because he seems to know. Kurly knows the secret of life?
Yeah.
I'm going to invite him over. I mean, he's a very interesting guy. You'll see.
Thank you for listening to Tales from Aztlantis, a project of the Chimali Institute of Mesoamerican Arts. If you enjoy the show, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. You can do this by visiting talesfromaztlantis.com and clicking Support the Podcast. Your continued support will help keep the podcast ad-free and independent. Until next time, Timo Itase.